Hi everyone, this is Steve Wright with SCD Lifestyle, and you're listening to the SCD Lifestyle Solution Podcast number 14. All right, on the phone with me again, Jordan Reesner, my partner in crime. How you doing, man?
Hello, hello. Things are great, man.
Good deal. Okay, well, I think today we were talking about what the heck were we gonna jive about on the phone for a while, and we realized that we've been answering a lot of emails lately, and we've been seeing a lot of trends in the emails of a lot of people with the same questions over and over again. And we just kind of wanted to pull out those questions or some of the general ones that we've answered a couple times over the last week and a half, and just talk about them today. So why don't you give it a go here, and I'm going to ask you a question. Pretend like I just wrote you an email, and let the listeners know what you would tell me for advice. So I think what I'm going to start off with is so here I am. I'm going to download, the SC Lifestyle Guide, or I'm going to get started read Breaking the Vicious Cycle Guide, and I'm having a bunch of trouble. And I look at it and I'm like, man, not only do I have digestive trouble, but I know I have fructose intolerance. Like, this diet's not for me. Like, what do I do? How can I do SCD diet if I have fructose intolerance? Well, what would you tell me?
Well, the first thing I would say is that um, I actually went through fructose malabsorption, and it was crazy. It was a difficult struggle. But once I realized that's what was going on, and that's what was causing a lot of my gas and stuff, I was able to tweak the diet specifically for that. So basically, a little bit more heavy reliance on fats and meats and veggies. And I really brought down the moderation on the fruits. I just had a little bit of fruit every day, and my symptoms went completely away. And the reason I give that example is because we always talk about how the SCD diet is an N equals 1 experiment, and you have to make your custom personalized version of the SCD diet based on what you're going through. So if you disqualify yourself and say, I can't start the SCD diet because I have fructose intolerance, and this intro diet looks like it uses grape juice and it uses, pureed apples after that. I can't do it. You just have to realize and say, well, these aren't written in stone. I'm not coming off a mountain and saying, you have to start the diet this way or else you'll fail. The reality is that, I started the diet without egg because I couldn't do it. And I also lived on the diet for a long time and with very low fruit moderation. So you just have to say, well, I have fructose intolerance, so how can I shape this diet a little bit differently so I don't cause problems? And you take out the grape juice out of the intro diet, and there you go. You can start the diet now, and you'll have very, very little fruit intake, which is going to really calm down your symptoms of fructose intolerance really quickly. So a lot of people have different things that they qualify as making the diet not applicable to them. Um, Another one I see is I have a dairy allergy, or I can't have egg, or I can't have chicken, so I can't do the intro diet. And the reality is that yes, you can. And the other point is that the intro diet's only 2 to 3 days. So you just make a quick change, do the intro diet for 2 to 3 days based on your needs, and then start building your food safe zone. And just because right now you can't have chicken, you can start the diet without chicken. Just have beef patties, or make some other kind of soup, such as like turkey soup or something like along those lines. And then in 6 to 8 weeks, try them again. Try chicken again. It's your N equals 1 at that time, but maybe you'll do some healing. Maybe your leaky gut will cure a little bit, and you'll be able to have chicken at that point. Or maybe your fructose malabsorption will improve a little bit because your small intestinal bacterial overgrowth is a little less. Things change over time. So my point is, create a custom version of the diet. Don't let little things that disqualify you prevent you from actually giving it a try. And then later on, test those assumptions and see if they're still the same. What might you have to add to that, Steve?
I'm not going to add anything. Actually, I'm just going to act like an emailer And after I got that email from you, I'm just gonna fire one right back that says, okay, that's great, but I still know what to do. So what I want to hear from you, Jordan, is I have a fructose intolerance. What you just told me is all well and great, but I'm lazy. What shouldn't I eat on the intro diet? And then after that, I want you to do the same thing for what you just said for somebody with a dairy allergy, and then, somebody with, say, a chicken allergy or a beef allergy. Just throw out a couple tweaks to make the intro diet as an N=1 scientist to try for each one of these individuals.
Well, so with fructose malabsorption, you really need to limit you need to limit the sugar intake. So the only thing with a lot of sugar in it in the intro diet is going to be the grape juice. You got to take the grape juice out, take out the gelatin. That's got to come out. And in order to replace that, you might have to eat a little bit more meat. So that's what I'm telling you. Take the grape juice out, eat a little bit more meat in place of it. As far as a chicken allergy, you know, you can't do the chicken soup, obviously, which is a pillar of the intro diet, so you need to make a different kind of meat soup. It could be turkey breast soup. You could grab some turkey wings, some turkey thighs from a butcher shop or a health food store. Or you could even try it with beef or pork. Things that that you don't have an allergy to. You can make soup in a crock pot and any of those things. So don't let that stop you. Just replace it, swap it, one for one. And then if you have a dairy allergy, we usually recommend that people start the intro diet without dairy anyways, because it causes so many problems. So I guess maybe to dive home more of a point, I'll focus on egg like I did. I took egg out of the intro diet, and I just ate regular meat for breakfast. So I ate like chicken breast for breakfast in place of the egg and things like that. So you just have to swap it one for one, and you'll be just fine.
Awesome, man. That's what I wanted to hear. I just wanted you to spread your hot knowledge about how easy it really is to do these N=1 experiments. It's really as simple as what Jordan just said. It's just, you know, make a little change here and make a little change there. So that's awesome, man.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. I've got a good question here that I wrote down the other night that I'd love to get your thoughts on. And I know that it's something that I struggle with, so I'd love to hear your opinion on it. Someone wrote into me, I need help with starting the diet because I can't make enough food to keep my hunger in check. I have to prepare food in advance because I'm so hungry in between meals that I'm constantly snacking. How can I start this diet?
well, I guess there's a couple things in that question that I would try to address. It sounds like the main point here is, uh, most likely you're eating foods that aren't satiety promoting. They don't strike a balance of, they don't cause a cascading release of hormones that really, you know, allow you to feel full and allow you to go about your life without needing to snack all the time. And if you're not on the SCD diet, if you're on the standard American diet or some other diet, most likely what's going on is it's like a really carb-heavy diet or a sugar-heavy diet in some way. I'm not going to blame it all on carbs. It could be any one ingredient or any one micronutrient of your diet. And I guess normal things to think about when you're having these types of issues around not feeling full and that kind of thing is normally your fats and protein consumption is going to be low. So if you're not on the SCD diet, I would say the first thing to do would be eat more meat, eat more fats, and see if that goes away, because my guess is it will. Now, if you're on SCD and you're getting ready to get started and you're worried about, well, normally I have a granola bar and a muffin at 9 a.m. and then at 2 p.m. I have an apple and some celery sticks and peanut butter or something like that, and I snack throughout the day to keep full. I think what you'll find is that when you go on SCD and you really cut back on carbs and simple sugars and really get more to a balanced diet that includes a lot more protein than maybe you're used to, as well as lots of good fats, both, at every, if you go 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I think what you'll find is that your blood sugar is going to be really balanced, and that you're not going to need those snacks. Now, the one caveat I would say here is in our book, we spend a couple pages on this, but it's very important. It's calculating how many calories do you need for your body to be active every day. What's your BMR, your basal metabolic rate? Because if you're low in calories, in total calories during a day, you're gonna feel hungry all the time. That's why weight loss diets are so hard. Is it's always a reduction in calories, and it doesn't affect your hormones in a way that makes you feel full and satisfied. So even whether you're on SCD or not on SCD, if you're not in a carb surplus or not a carb surplus, a calorie surplus or a maintaining calorie basis, you'll probably have some swings in blood sugar as well as some swings in like SATI levels and everything. So on the SCD diet, there's two things you got to do. One is calculate how many calories you need and then make sure you're hitting that amount of calories. And the second thing is if you're getting the need to snack, you got to up the protein. I think making those two changes or guaranteeing those two things are in place will take care of everybody's problems surrounding this issue.
That's great feedback, man. And I just want to add one more thing. If you're really that worried about it, maybe in the beginning, I know, Steve, you taught me a lot about this, and so sometimes we recommend to people, just to prove to yourself that it's going to work out, is you can split up your meals into 6 smaller meals a day instead of 3 bigger meals, and that'll help you kind of get over that a little bit, and then as you transition, you'll kind of find that you're a lot more full and you don't really need to snack, and you're not so much hungry as you used to be. So it's another thing I wanted to throw in out there with that.
Yeah, and that's a great point that I forgot about because we talked about this in several podcasts and in our book several times, but the amount of natural food, the volume of food that you need to eat on the SCD is most likely bigger and sometimes in magnitudes of 1 or 2 or 3 times as much as you're usually used to eating. So if you break up your meals, your SCD legal meals, into 6 different meals or 7 different meals, it's an easier way to get the calories that you need, and even when your stomach's in a smaller state, used to a smaller volume of food.
Awesome. Awesome. What's another question, man? Lay one on me.
Okay. How about here's one I got right here. I haven't started the diet yet. I'm worried that it's just going to be too hard. I'm really busy. I got a lot of family, or I work a lot. I work a really hard job. I'm really busy because of X. You know, there's. I'll try it in a little while when I'm not so busy. What would you tell me?
Well, it depends on if I'm feeling nice or if I'm feeling mean that day. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot of psychology in a statement like that. There's a lot of fear. Um, there's a lot going on. But really, the way I usually start out with something like that, for people that think that the diet might be too hard or they don't have time or they're too busy, is the first time I thought about that is like, well, how much time do I really spend in the bathroom every day? And one of our original podcasts we did with Paul from Eating SCD, he made the great point, like, trade your bathroom time for kitchen time, right? Like, would you
Yeah.
rather be spending your time in the bathroom or would you rather be spending your time in the kitchen? What's the trade-off there? But we have, a lot of time management hacks that we do, like cooking in bulk, that can get through those objections, like Sunday afternoon, cook a bunch of food and freeze, like dinner meals in the fridge for your whole week. Just cook as much in bulk as you can, like cook 10 chicken breasts, bake them all together in the oven, stuff like that. But for people that have family, you can find ways to make complete meals that your families can eat. Like you just make a meat and a veggie for everybody, and then they can fill in side dishes if they want of rice or potatoes or whatever they need that you can't eat. But the reality is that I guess my point I always try to ask people is, why not try it for 30 days? What are you giving up if you don't try it for 30 days? So if you try it for 30 days and you get healthy, the upswing is that the rest of your life has changed. You took control of your health and you feel great. and everything else in your life is going to be better. The downside, if it doesn't work, is, oh my God, I just wasted 30 days because I couldn't eat these sugary, amazing treats that I missed. Okay, you really suffered. You still had diarrhea every day, and you just couldn't eat the amazing food that you love to taste. So the downside of trying it for 30 days is a lot smaller than the huge upside for the rest of your life that trying for 30 days could bring you. So I guess usually when I see something like that, I get a sense that people are scared, they don't really want to commit, they've already tried a bunch of stuff and none of it worked, and they're just skeptical. And my usual response is, why not try for 30 days? What's stopping you from trying it for 30 days starting next week? What's preventing you? What is it really? And usually I'll just try to engage people and find out what's the one thing that's really stopping you. What are you really afraid of? How insignificant is 30 days in your life, which is, what, like 50,000, 75,000 days, of your adult life. So what's 30 days compared to that?
That's awesome, man. That's great. Yeah, I think that's huge, and I want to kind of push you a little bit harder, and you really brought it home to the point of they're not taking action. The big thing is whether you're trying to start the SCD diet, or whether you're trying to get off drugs, or you're trying to start an exercise program, it's usually not that you don't understand the steps to doing it, or that you can't find somebody to teach you the steps, or you're worried about the time management or something like that. Most of the time, it's always you're just not ready to take action. And I think that's kind of what you beat around the bush, and I just wanted to just put a nail in the wall and hang my hat on the fact that um, if you're having these kind of thoughts bouncing around your head, that's why our book has got a 365-day guarantee, because we want to remove all the risk from you thinking that you can't find the steps, because the steps are already there. The steps to running a marathon are all over in different books. The steps to doing anything in life, from building a house to building a car, are already done. It's just whether or not you're going to take the action and spend the time to try that. So I just wanted to drive that home there. Sorry.
Yes, yes. Behavior change is the most difficult thing in the entire world. Think about all the people that try to quit smoking every day. Think about all the people that try to lose weight. Speaking of losing weight in the new year, and all the people that try to save more money and budget and do all these things, that they do it for like 5 days and then life gets in the way. And so really, when you ask a question like that, behavior change is the most difficult thing in the world. So for those of you that have started the diet, you should just pat yourself on the back for just taking action. It's a huge step in the right direction. And I did want to make one huge kind of point here, is that these podcasts are something that Steve and I do, and we think about, what are some of the questions people are asking us? What are things people really want to know about right now? What should we talk about this week? But in reality, what we'd love to see is people submitting questions for us to answer every week, so that, we're giving you the information that you want to know about and the information that you need to hear about, whether you've started the diet, whether you haven't started the diet, what your specific situation is, that kind of stuff. And so these are some real emails that we read you tonight and that we've gone through. And so what I'm going to do is I want to add a link at the bottom of this post, and it's going to have a link to a SurveyMonkey survey. And all you need to do is click the link, and it's going to have a comment box where you can ask us a question and submit it. So when you're done with listening to this podcast, go to the bottom of the link, click the SurveyMonkey survey. It's going to have a box. Ask us one question and hit submit. And going forward, I'm going to do that at the bottom of every post. I'm going to include that same link. So just make sure that if you have any questions about the diet that you want answered, just go click that link and submit the question, and we'll go over it in a future podcast.
Yeah, that's awesome, Jordan. I'm glad you definitely remembered to mention all that. And I just wanted to tell people that